The massive Imperial ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, its golden hull gleaming in the distant sunlight. Admiral James Marcus stood on the bridge, his lips curled into a slight smile as he gazed at the blue planet through the viewscreen. After centuries of avoiding this primitive system, the Galactic Empire had finally decided to add Earth to its collection of worlds. "Prepare the standard first contact package," Marcus ordered, straightening his pristine white uniform. "Let's show these primitives what they've been missing." But Earth wasn't as primitive as the Empire believed. Deep within a mountain complex in Colorado, General Robert Thompson stared at the massive wall of screens showing the Imperial vessel's approach. Warning lights flashed across every monitoring station as Earth's hidden sensor network tracked the alien ship's movement. "They're earlier than we expected," Anna Wilson, Earth's chief of intelligence, said as she rushed into the command center. Her normally neat gray hair was messy, showing signs of a sleepless night. "But we're ready." Thompson nodded, pressing a button that connected him to all major military commands worldwide. "Initialize Protocol Shield. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." Across the planet, hidden facilities hummed to life. 20 years of preparation were about to be tested. The Imperial ship's message arrived on all frequencies, translated into every major Earth language. Admiral Marcus's hologram appeared in government buildings worldwide, his voice dripping with manufactured kindness. "People of Earth, rejoice. The Galactic Empire welcomes you into its embrace. Your primitive struggles end today. We bring you technology, culture, and civilization. Prepare for integration into the greatest society in the known universe." In the United Nations emergency bunker beneath Geneva, 500 world leaders gathered in the massive circular chamber. The room buzzed with worried conversations in dozens of languages. President John Williams of the World Security Council took the podium, his dark face serious under the harsh lights. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "for 2 decades, we've known this day would come. Our deep space observers watched the Empire uplift other civilizations. We saw what happened to those worlds." He gestured to the large screen behind him, showing images of various alien worlds. "The Empire doesn't bring civilization. It brings conformity. The blue people of Proxima B. Now they're just another Imperial colony, their ancient songs forgotten. The crystal builders of Ta City. Their great works gather dust in Imperial museums while their children learn only Imperial history." Anna Wilson stepped forward, activating a series of classified reports on the screen. "Our undercover agents confirm our worst fears. 98% of uplifted species lose all cultural identity within 3 generations. They become nothing more than Imperial citizens, identical in thought and culture to every other world in the Empire." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's art, music, literature, traditions, all would be gradually replaced by Imperial standards. "We have 2 options," President Williams continued. "Accept Imperial rule and watch Earth's culture fade into history, or do what no species has done before. Say no." General Thompson stood up from his seat. "The shield network is ready. Our quantum technology remains undetected. The Empire scientists never explored these principles because their standard tech worked well enough. They've grown complacent. We can defend our system. The price will be high," Anna warned. "The Empire has never faced rejection. They'll respond with force." President Williams looked around the room, meeting the eyes of leaders from every nation. "We've had our differences, fought our wars, but we've always maintained our diversity, our uniqueness. Earth holds thousands of cultures, each valuable, each worth protecting. We won't let them become another Imperial footnote." The vote was quick and unanimous. Earth would refuse Imperial integration. As Admiral Marcus waited in orbit for Earth's submission, a simple message flashed across every Imperial screen in clear Imperial standard. HCCSS DE Earth, Regumen Ains NDP. Marcus laughed when his communications officer showed him the message. How charming, he said. They think they have a choice. Prepare a demonstration fleet. Let's show them what happens to worlds that defy Imperial progress. He had no way of knowing that Earth's defiance would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Marcus watched with growing anger as the same message kept flashing across his command screen. Access No one had ever denied the Empire entry. Not in 3,000 years of expansion. Send the demonstration fleet, he ordered, his voice cold. 5 destroyer-class ships should be enough to show these primitives their place. In the Mountain Command Center, General Thompson tracked the Imperial ships' movement. They're deploying their demonstration fleet, he announced to the gathered leadership. Just as predicted. Anna Wilson nodded, checking data on her tablet. Their ships follow standard Imperial attack patterns. They're not even trying to hide their approach. They think we're blind. President Williams stood at the main window overlooking the command floor. Send our message one more time. Give them a chance to turn back. The communications officer typed quickly, and Earth's message broadcast across all frequencies. Final video earning. This system is TLOC. Turn back or face Kivon. He QENCs. On the Imperial flagship, the bridge crew laughed at the message. Consequences. Marcus smiled. What consequences could primitive Earth possibly offer? The 5 Imperial destroyers moved into attack formation. Their golden hulls gleamed as they approached Earth's atmosphere. The lead ship prepared its weapons, aiming at military bases across the planet. Standard Imperial procedure for forcing submission. They're within range, General Thompson announced. Shield activation in 3, 2, 1. Across Earth, hidden quantum generators activated. The air seemed to shimmer for a moment, then cleared. To normalize, nothing had changed. But in space, something extraordinary was happening. The lead Imperial destroyer suddenly stopped. Its engines flared brightly as it tried to move forward, but it couldn't advance. None of their ships could. An invisible barrier surrounded Earth's atmosphere. What's happening? Marcus demanded, watching the scene from his flagship. Report. Sir, we're detecting something, his science officer said, confusion clear in his voice. Some kind of barrier, but it's not using any technology we recognize. Our sensors can't even properly detect it. Impossible. Marcus slammed his fist on his chair. Primitive worlds don't have planetary shields. Order the destroyers to fire. The Imperial ships launched their most powerful weapons. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward Earth. When they hit the shield, something strange happened. Instead of exploding or being absorbed, the attack simply disappeared. In the Mountain Command Center, cheers erupted. The quantum shield is working perfectly, Anna reported. Their weapons are being shifted slightly out of phase with our reality. They literally can't touch us. Now for Phase 2, General Thompson said grimly. Show them we're not as helpless as they think. Hidden defense platforms activated around Earth's orbit. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they created focused quantum fields. Where these fields touched the Imperial ships, metal started to age rapidly. Centuries of wear happened in seconds. On the lead destroyer, alarms blared as the hull began to deteriorate, hull integrity failing. The captain shouted, "We need to retreat." The demonstration fleet pulled back in disarray, their once pristine ships now looking centuries old. The quantum aging had affected their weapons and engines too. Everything had been aged to near failure. Admiral Marcus watched in disbelief as his demonstration fleet limped back to the safety of his flagship. Earth's message repeated one final time. Access DNID. This system is TLOC. Further, ATMPTs at ENTRYYYLBNET with increasing resistance. In the command center, President Williams watched the Imperial ships retreat. They'll be back, he said quietly. This was just their first attempt. "Let them come," General Thompson replied. "The shield can hold indefinitely, and they haven't seen half of what we can do." Anna checked her reports, smiling slightly. "Our spies report the news is already spreading through the Empire. The primitive world that said no. The planet that turned back an Imperial fleet. More importantly," President Williams added, "we've shown it's possible to resist. Other worlds will notice." As the Imperial ships disappeared into hyperspace, Earth continued its quiet orbit around the Sun. To any observer, it looked like nothing had changed. But in the heart of every human was a new feeling: pride. They had stood up to the greatest power in the galaxy, and they had won the first round. The real battle, everyone knew, was just beginning. The Imperial Council chamber was silent as Admiral Marcus finished his report. The massive golden hall, usually filled with the whispers of 1,000 worlds' representatives, was quiet enough to hear a pin drop. "Impossible," the High Chancellor said finally, his aged face twisted in confusion. "No primitive world has ever resisted the Empire. Not successfully." Marcus stood straight, his damaged pride visible in his stiff posture. "Their technology, it's different. Our sensors can barely detect it. They've developed something new. Then we will crush them with numbers," the High Chancellor declared. "Bring the main fleet, show them the true might of the Empire." In Earth's asteroid belt, hidden sensors detected the arrival of over 200 Imperial warships. This was no demonstration fleet. This was an invasion force. General Thompson studied the holographic display, showing the massive Imperial armada. "Right on schedule," he said, nodding to Anna Wilson. "They really are predictable." "Their pride demands it," Anna replied, reviewing intelligence reports. "The Empire has never failed to conquer a world. They can't accept being told no." President Williams entered the command center, looking at the imposing fleet display. "Are the belt defenses ready?" "Yes, sir," Thompson answered. "The automated defense grid is fully operational. The Empire's ships are heading right into our trap." In space, Admiral Marcus directed his fleet into an attack formation. "No more games," he announced to his commanders. "Full assault. Overwhelm their shields with concentrated fire." The Imperial fleet moved forward confidently, their golden ships filling space like a swarm of angry wasps. They didn't notice the seemingly random chunks of rock floating around them in the asteroid belt. "They're in position," Thompson announced. Activating defense grid. Suddenly, the random asteroids came alive. Hidden behind layers of rock were Earth's automated defense platforms. Hundreds of them, all powered by the same quantum technology that made their shields possible. The first Imperial ship disappeared without a sound, shifted completely out of phase with normal spacetime. Another found its weapon systems aged 1,000 years in seconds. A third simply stopped, caught in a bubble of slowed time, where 1 second outside was a century inside. "What's happening?" Marcus demanded as chaos erupted across his fleet. "Return fire." But the defense platforms were impossible to target effectively. Their quantum fields made them appear to be in multiple places at once, and conventional weapons passed right through them. In the command center, Anna read from her tablet. 50 Imperial ships disabled. No casualties on either side. Earth's defense strategy had been carefully designed to disable rather than destroy. They wouldn't give the Empire any martyrs. "Sir," a communications officer called out, "we're detecting transmissions from some of the Imperial ships to non-Imperial frequencies." Anna smiled. "Looks like our friends in the Resistance are watching, just as we hoped." On his flagship, Marcus watched in horror as his mighty fleet was systematically neutralized. Ships were trapped in time fields, weapons were aged to dust, and communications were scrambled by quantum interference. Nothing in his training had prepared him for this. "Full retreat," he ordered finally, his voice shaking with rage. "Fall back beyond the asteroid belt." As the Imperial ships withdrew, Earth broadcast a new message. "Imperial vessels are not in this system. Further, NCURSIONs YLBENDT with similar Arias VOSA. President Williams watched the Imperial fleet retreat. How many ships did they lose? None destroyed, Thompson replied. But 87 are effectively disabled. Their technology is either too old to function or trapped in time bubbles. They'll have to be abandoned. And the crews? All escape pods were allowed safe passage out of the system, Anna confirmed. As planned, we showed we could have killed them, but chose not to. The Empire won't understand that mercy, Thompson warned. They'll see it as weakness. Perhaps, Williams said. But we're not fighting just the Empire anymore. We're showing the galaxy another way. Every disabled ship, every crew member we spare, tells a story. Earth doesn't want to destroy the Empire. We just want to be left alone. In the depths of space, the Imperial fleet regrouped. Marcus stared at the distant blue planet, barely visible from this distance. For the first time in his career, he felt something he'd never expected. Doubt. The Empire had never failed before, but they had never faced anything like Earth. The Imperial Science Academy was in chaos. Dozens of the Empire's brightest minds hurried through the massive crystal halls, carrying data tablets and arguing in loud voices. In the main laboratory, Chief Scientist Peter Lee stared at the readings from Earth's defense systems for the 100th time. None of this makes sense, he muttered, rubbing his tired eyes. Their technology doesn't follow any known scientific principles. The High Chancellor himself had ordered an immediate investigation into Earth's mysterious capabilities. The Empire's reputation was at stake. How could a primitive world possess technology that their greatest scientists couldn't understand? Sir, one of his assistants called out, "You need to see this. We found something in the old archives." On the massive display screen, ancient records appeared. They showed Earth's first radio signals, their early space experiments, and their technological development. But there was something strange about the dates. "Wait," Lee said, leaning forward. "These observations, they're from over 50 years ago. We've been watching Earth all this time." "Yes, sir," the assistant replied. "But that's not the interesting part. Look at their research directions. While the Empire had focused on traditional energy and faster-than-light travel, Earth's scientists had explored quantum mechanics, particle physics, and theoretical mathematics. They had taken a completely different path of technological development. In the Mountain Command Center on Earth, Anna Wilson received the latest intelligence reports. "The Empire is finally figuring it out," she told General Thompson and President Williams. "They're realizing we've been watching them for decades." "Show them," Williams ordered. Thompson pressed a button, and hidden cameras activated throughout the Imperial Science Academy. On their screens, they could see the scientists' shocked faces as they made discovery after discovery. "Impossible," Lee exclaimed, looking at new data. "They've had cloaked satellites observing our worlds for years. They knew we were coming. They studied our technology, our tactics, our weaknesses. The evidence was overwhelming. While the Empire thought Earth was struggling with basic spaceflight, humanity had been secretly preparing. They had chosen to appear weak while building their strength." "Sir," another scientist called out, "analysis of their quantum shield technology shows it's not just defensive. They could have adapted it as a weapon." Lee's face paled. "You mean they could have destroyed our ships? Instead, they chose to disable them safely." The scientist paused. "They showed mercy." The news spread through the Empire like wildfire. Emergency meetings were called in 100 systems. The Empire's military leaders argued about what to do, while their scientists struggled to understand Earth's quantum technology. In a secret meeting room on the Imperial capital world, representatives from several outer systems gathered. If Earth could resist, one delegate whispered, perhaps others could too. Back on Earth, Anna smiled as she read the latest reports. The Empire's unity is cracking. Several outer systems are questioning Imperial authority. They're inspired by our resistance. "And the quantum technology?" Thompson asked. Still secure, she replied. The Empire's scientists are too set in their ways. They can't understand how we approached problems differently. Their own advanced technology has become their limitation. They never looked for alternatives. President Williams stood by the window, looking at the mountain landscape. The Empire's greatest weakness was their arrogance. They thought their way was the only way forward. They forgot that innovation comes from diversity, different cultures, different ways of thinking. Sir, a communications officer interrupted. We're receiving requests from several Imperial worlds. They want to know more about our defensive systems. Williams turned to his advisors. What do you think? Should we share our technology? Carefully, Anna suggested. To selected worlds that truly want independence. It could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The Empire won't survive this, Thompson noted. Not as it is now. Too many worlds will question their authority. Maybe that's not a bad thing, Williams said quietly. The galaxy needs change. The Empire needs to learn that bigger doesn't always mean better, and advanced doesn't always mean right. As night fell over Earth's command center, the planet's defenders watched their screens carefully. The Empire's mighty fleet remained at the edge of the solar system, unable to advance but unwilling to fully retreat. The stalemate wouldn't last forever. But for now, Earth had achieved something remarkable. They had shown the galaxy that resistance was possible, and that sometimes the most powerful weapon was simply the word no. The Imperial Palace shook as another protest wave swept through the capital city. On his golden throne, the High Chancellor watched emergency reports flood in from across the galaxy. 10 systems in open rebellion, 20 more threatening to leave the Empire, all inspired by one small blue planet that dared to say no. This can't go on, he muttered, turning to his advisors. One world's defiance is destroying 10,000 years of order. In a hidden rebel base on the desert world of New Mars, representatives from 30 different species gathered in secret. Their meeting room was simple, a stark contrast to the Empire's golden halls. Earth has proved it's possible, said Tom Baker, Earth's secret ambassador to the rebellion. The Empire isn't invincible. They can be stopped. But how? Asked a rebel leader, his scaled skin reflecting the dim light. We don't have Earth's technology. Tom smiled and opened a secure briefcase. Inside was a small device, a quantum shield generator. Earth is willing to share, under certain conditions. On Earth, President Williams addressed the Global Council. Phase 3 is proceeding as planned. The shield technology is being distributed to carefully selected resistance groups. Anna Wilson added, Our conditions are strict. The technology can only be used defensively, never as a weapon. We won't replace one empire with another. General Thompson's screen lit up with urgent news. Admiral Marcus has been removed from command. The Empire is desperately trying to maintain control, but more systems are declaring independence every day. In space, Imperial ships found themselves increasingly powerless. Every time they tried to suppress a rebellion, they found worlds protected by quantum shields. Their weapons, once feared across the galaxy, became useless against Earth's defensive technology. The Empire's response was predictable. They tried to build their own quantum weapons, but their scientists, trained only in Imperial technology, couldn't understand the basic principles. Earth had taken a different path in scientific development, and the Empire's own technological superiority had become a prison of thinking. Another system has declared independence, Anna reported, marking a star on the galactic map. The Empire's territory has shrunk by 30%. And Earth? President Williams asked. Any more attacks? None, Thompson replied. They're too busy trying to maintain control of their remaining systems. We're not their priority anymore. In the Imperial Science Academy, Chief Scientist Lee made a breakthrough. The quantum shields. They're not just technology. They're a symbol. Earth didn't just develop better defenses. They developed a way to say no to power. The High Chancellor received the report with growing dread. Earth hadn't just resisted the Empire. They had shown others how to resist. The very idea of resistance, once unthinkable, was spreading like wildfire. On 1,000 worlds, people looked up at their skies and saw something new: hope. The Empire's golden ships, once symbols of unstoppable power, now seemed less threatening. Earth had shown that even the smallest world could stand up to the greatest power in the galaxy. "Sir," Anna called out, reading from her tablet, "we're receiving a new kind of request. Several Imperial worlds want to negotiate peaceful separation from the Empire. They're asking Earth to mediate." President Williams raised his eyebrows. "They trust us that much. We're the only ones who've successfully stood up to the Empire without using violence." Thompson noted, "We've proven there's another way." In the rebel base on New Mars, Tom Baker addressed the growing alliance of independent worlds. Earth's message is simple: every world has the right to choose its own path. The age of empires is ending. The age of independence is beginning. The High Chancellor stared out his palace window at the endless city below. The protests had spread to the capital itself. Citizens were demanding reforms, rights, freedom of choice, all because one small world had shown that resistance wasn't futile. "Perhaps," he said quietly to himself, "it's time for the Empire to change." Back on Earth, President Williams watched the sunset from the Mountain Command Center. The quantum shield shimmed faintly in the dying light, a reminder of humanity's ingenuity and determination. "We didn't just protect Earth," he said to his advisors. "We started a revolution, not with weapons or violence, but with a simple word: no." The galaxy would never be the same. And it all started because Earth refused to bow. The conference room in the neutral space station Unity was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. On one side sat Earth's delegation, led by President Williams. On the other, the Empire's highest diplomats, their golden uniforms looking strangely out of place. Above them, through the transparent dome, both Earth and the Imperial capital world were visible as distant points of light. A fitting setting for the most important meeting in galactic history. "We are prepared to discuss terms," the Imperial Prime Diplomat said, his voice lacking its usual arrogance. The Empire had finally accepted reality. They couldn't defeat Earth, and their realm was crumbling. President Williams nodded calmly. "Earth will speak not just for ourselves, but for all worlds seeking independence." The Imperial delegation shifted uncomfortably. Behind them, on a large screen, a map showed their shrinking empire. Nearly half their worlds now had quantum shields. Their once mighty fleet sat idle, unable to penetrate these defenses. "You're destroying thousands of years of peace and order," one Imperial diplomat protested. Anna Wilson, sitting beside Williams, opened her data tablet. "Is this your definition of peace?" She displayed images of worlds stripped of their culture, species forced to abandon their traditions. "Conformity isn't peace, it's just quiet oppression." In the Empire's capital, the High Chancellor watched the negotiations through a secure feed. His advisors waited nervously for his reaction. The Empire had never negotiated as equals before. They had always dictated terms. Back at the conference, President Williams laid out Earth's terms. First, any world that wants independence must be free to choose it. Second, the Empire must recognize the right of all species to maintain their own culture and traditions. "Impossible," an Imperial diplomat exclaimed. "The Empire's strength comes from unity." "No," General Thompson countered, speaking for the first time. "True strength comes from diversity. Different cultures bring different ideas, different solutions. Look how Earth's different approach to science created technology you couldn't understand." The negotiations continued for hours. Earth's delegation remained firm but fair. They didn't seek to destroy the Empire, only to transform it. "We propose a new system," Williams explained. "A voluntary confederation. Worlds can choose to join or leave freely. Trade and cultural exchange would continue, but each world would govern itself. The Imperial diplomats huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. Their empire was falling apart anyway. Perhaps this was a way to save something from the collapse. In the observation room above the conference, Tom Baker watched with other representatives from independent worlds. Earth is offering them a way to save face, he explained to the others. A peaceful transition instead of a complete collapse. The Imperial Prime Diplomat finally spoke. The Empire will consider these terms, but what guarantees do we have? What prevents these independent worlds from becoming threats? The same technology that protects them, Anna replied. The quantum shields are defensive only. We've made sure they can't be weaponized. Every world can protect itself, but none can dominate others. President Williams added, Earth will serve as a guardian of this new order, not as rulers, but as protectors of independence. Through the secure feed, the High Chancellor watched his diplomats gradually accept Earth's terms. His empire was ending, but something new was taking its place. Perhaps, he thought, this was better than watching it all burn. The negotiations continued for several more hours, working out details. Trade routes would remain open. Cultural exchange would be encouraged but not forced. The Imperial fleet would be reduced, transformed into a peacekeeping force. As the final documents were being prepared, President Williams stood by the station's window, looking at the distant stars. General Thompson joined him. Did you ever think, when we first built those quantum shields, that it would end like this? Thompson asked. Not an ending, Williams corrected him. A beginning. We didn't just protect Earth, we're helping build a better galaxy. The Imperial Prime Diplomat approached them, holding the final treaty. His hands trembled slightly. He was about to sign away an empire thousands of years old. Your world, he said quietly, has taught us something we had forgotten. True civilization isn't about forcing others to be like you. It's about learning to accept differences. As the delegates gathered for the final signatures, Earth's message to the Empire had transformed. From a simple access denied to something greater, a vision of a galaxy where every world could choose its own path. 5 years had passed since the historic treaty. The observation deck of Earth's new Galactic Communication Center offered a stunning view of the changed world below. President Williams, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Confederation, stood beside an unexpected visitor, former Admiral Marcus. Strange, Marcus said, watching ships from 100 different worlds moving freely through Earth's space. 5 years ago, I came here to conquer this world. Now I'm here to learn from it. The former Admiral, like many in the old Empire, had changed. He now led a research team studying Earth's unique approach to science and culture. His golden uniform was replaced by simple civilian clothes. In the main control room, Anna Wilson showed a group of alien students the basics of quantum shield technology. The key was thinking differently, she explained. Your worlds can adapt this technology to work with your own sciences. Each shield is unique, just like each culture. Earth had kept its promise. The quantum shield technology had spread across the galaxy, but only for defense. Every world could protect itself, but none could use the technology to dominate others. It was perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the stars, the power to say no. Another trade federation formed in the Orion Arm, General Thompson reported, reviewing the day's news. 3 formerly Imperial worlds and 2 independent systems working together as equals. The Galactic Empire had transformed into exactly what Earth had proposed, a voluntary confederation. Worlds could join or leave freely. Some stayed, enjoying the benefits of cooperation without the cost of submission. Others chose independence, developing their own paths. The Emperor's Palace is now the galaxy's largest museum, Marcus noted. Every world has a wing to showcase their culture, even Earth. We noticed you put our quantum shield prototype in your display, Williams said with a smile. Of course, it changed everything. Marcus paused, though not in the way anyone expected. We thought technology was about power. You showed us it could be about protection instead. Below them, in the streets of Earth's cities, aliens walked freely among humans, not as conquerors or subjects, but as visitors and friends. Earth's culture had not only survived but thrived, enriched by contact with other worlds while maintaining its unique identity. In the old Imperial capital, now called the City of Peoples, the High Chancellor's throne sat empty in its museum display. Beside it, a simple plaque told the story of Earth's resistance and the birth of the new Galactic Order. Tom Baker, now head of the Confederation's Cultural Exchange Program, led a tour group through the former Imperial Palace. The Empire tried to make everyone the same, he explained. They thought unity meant uniformity. Earth showed that true unity comes from celebrating our differences. Back on Earth, Anna received an alert on her tablet. Another request for quantum shield adaptation. The crystal beams of Rigel want to integrate it with their crystalline technology. Approve it, Williams nodded. And send them our standard conditions. The conditions were simple but firm. The technology could only be used for defense, must be shared with neighboring worlds if requested, and could never be modified for offensive purposes. So far, no world had broken these rules. They had all learned from the Empire's mistakes. Sometimes I'd wonder, Marcus said, watching a group of alien children playing in a park below. What would have happened if we had succeeded in conquering Earth? You never could have, Thompson replied. Not because of our shields or technology, but because the human spirit can't be conquered. We proved that even the smallest world can stand up to the greatest power. President Williams looked at the bustling spaceport, where ships of all shapes and sizes came and went freely. Earth's message had evolved from a simple access denied to something far more powerful. All are welcome, as equals. The greatest power, Williams said, isn't the ability to force others to obey. It's the ability to help others stand on their own. As the sun set over this new Earth, its light reflected off the quantum shield high above, creating a subtle aurora of shifting colors. To the visitors from across the galaxy, it was a reminder of the day a small blue world had dared to say no to an empire, and in doing so, had helped set the galaxy free. The end.